Hey guys, welcome to the fourth episode of the Andy Campbell Championship Show only on Ace Podcast Nation. I'm your co-host Si, and I'm joined by ex-Championship striker and Cardiff City legend, Mr. Andy Campbell, to talk the weekend's goings on in the Sky Championship. Sky Bet Championship, sorry, choking. Welcome, Andy. It's great to have you back, mate. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, just more goals, more things to talk about. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, more dodgy penalties, more decisions. It's never
getting
dull.
Better by the week. No, it's getting better by the week.
It is indeed. So just before we get going, guys, you can get all of our shows and series available in video format at youtube.com, Ace Podcast Nation. Audio is available at all the usual podcasting platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, TuneIn Radio, and loads of others. Today's show is brought to you by Away Day Apparel. Away Day Apparel is a group of casually obsessed football fans looking to bring something different to the wardrobes of like-minded people. With football, music, and weekend carnage high on the agenda, they aim to bring you some exclusive products. They are edgy, controversial, but most importantly, current. From t-shirts, polos, shirts and hoodies, jackets and accessories, stick with them, and they aim to bring you terrace wear that will turn heads and provide the cutting edge that we all look and crave. Keep an eye on them, and they will keep an eye on you. Okay, so we're going to try something slightly different this week. Instead of going through every game in detail, we're going to focus on three main games and then sort of discuss the others a bit more briefly. Because last week we went about an hour and 45, which we felt was a little bit long. So we're going to try some different formats, see if it works, and we'll see how it goes. See you guys tell us if you like it, if you prefer it, if you'd rather us go back to every game and every detail. That's fine as well. Whatever you guys want. But yes, so let's have a try the new way, as it were. So yeah, it was another weekend of action, bad tackles. So actually, there wasn't that many bad tackles this week, really.
No, there wasn't.
But, some strange results as usual, but
yeah,
it's like by the by. Okay, so first game up is Barnsley 1, Luton 3. Barnsley, yeah, they played quite well the other week, and then they were not good, especially in that first half. They were really dreadful.
Well, we spoke about at the start of the season, didn't we? We spoke about how important their home form is. They kept a record number of clean sheets last year, and they were 3-0 down after half an hour. And it doesn't matter if you're playing Luton, Cardiff, Leeds, or Stoke City. You can't give yourself an uphill task like that. And you know what I mean? I think they were 2-0 down after 5 minutes. And you know what I mean? Luton Town, the free scoring, the scoring goals. Every time the ball went in the box in the first half, they looked like they were going to score. And you know what I mean? That didn't look like a Barnsley performance, and you know what I mean. Notoriously defensively, they've done well this season, and they'll just look so shaky, and even going forward, you know what I mean. I think the first half rocked them quite a lot, and it was such a unlike Barnsley performance this season because they can't afford too many of them, because if they carry that on, they're going to find themselves in a lot of trouble, and they're going to give a lot of goals away, because they were quite similar goals to give away. A lot of crosses in the box, you know what I mean, which plays in the hands really of quite a lot of Championship sides. And if Leeds United have been watching that, or Middlesbrough have been watching it, or Cardiff or Stoke City, everyone's going to see a massive weakness in in some of the goals what happened. So you know what I mean, they need to get back quickly and make sure that doesn't continue.
Yeah, Luton, I thought were very, very good in the the first sort of 30, 40 minutes. Barnsley did get better, but it was 3-0 half time, and it could have been 5-6.
Easily. If it wasn't for to be fair, the goalkeeper didn't have that many chances with the 3 goals, and he kept them in it with another couple of half decent saves. And you know, I mean, he must have been pulling his hair out at half time, because he'll have been sat there thinking he's had a half decent game. He's let 3 goals in. The game's over. You know what I mean, in terms of the scoreline, and about a little bit of respectability, and you know what I mean, and then probably Luton shut up shop a little bit in the second half and damaged limitations, and just saw the game out. And you know what I mean, to go away to anyone in the Championship and score 3 goals and come away with 3 points is they keep surprising, especially they're surprising me. You know what I mean? They've got no fear this season, Luton. And I said after the Middlesbrough game that they'll shock a few teams, and they're certainly shocking me week in, week out. And, you know what I mean? When's it going to stop? You know what I mean? Are they going to keep on scoring goals? Are they keeping on? You know what I mean? James Collins, everyone said that he couldn't do it in the Championship. He got himself another goal. You know what I mean? It's a fairy tale. You know what I mean? They're the smallest club in the Championship. And I do hope for the football club alone that they can carry on.
Yeah, and I think, like, traditionally, I'm really, really happy to see them back up in the Championship just because they're a proper football club. Yeah. And if I look at all the teams now after the first sort of 4 or 5 games, I'm looking at it and I don't think they're going to go down. Now, obviously, there's a long, long way to go, but they don't, like, if you look at it, at all the teams and how they're playing and the way they've started, they don't seem like one of the favourite 3 to go down for me. Anyway.
End of the day, Si, if they lose the rest of the game, they lose 41 games for the rest of the season. I think everyone's expecting them, or everyone would expect and say, "Oh well, they'll give it a good go." You know what I mean? Because they've started off really, really well, and you know what I mean. They're gonna upset a lot of people at Kenilworth Road because no one's gonna enjoy going there. And the longer this good run goes on for them, the more difficult it's going to be for the teams who go there, for the teams who, you know what I mean, who play against them at home. Because if you play, no offence to Luton Town, if you play against Luton Town at home, like Cardiff found out, you know what I mean, they're going to make it tough for you. You're expecting to win, so it doesn't matter really what kind of result to get, because you know what I mean, Cardiff probably got criticised for only beating them 2-1, and that's the Championship for you now, and it's, you know what I mean, it's such a cutthroat league, and you know what I mean, and then they score goals in every game. They're looking dangerous. They score, you know what I mean, 3 against Middlesbrough, 3 against Barnsley, 1 against Cardiff. You know what I mean, this is no fluke. You know what I mean, people questioned could they score goals in this league, and you know what I mean, at the minute they're scoring very freely.
Yeah, we said at the start of the season that teams like Barnsley, Luton, Charlton needed to win as many home games as possible, and then just try and pick up the odds, away win, away draw, and you know, it's Luton's. It is their first win of the season, but Luton, this win has been coming for the last couple of weeks. You know, they've been 100%. Playing well.
Well, like we said, though, mate. You know what I mean? They played Middlesbrough. They played West Brom. They played Sheffield last weekend. They played Barnsley today. You know, they've had on paper on Cardiff. They've played some ridiculous sides on paper. You know what I mean? Probably some of the hardest teams. So to come away with a point so far, what they've got, you know what I mean? It's credit to them, because you know what I mean. The leapfrogged over Barnsley at the weekend. You know what I mean? It's only 1 game, but they've scored 8 goals in 5 games. Granted, they've let 9 in, but it's you know what I mean. They've just got to clean up a little bit at the back and stop letting regular goals in. But there must be a joy to watch. Their supporters are certainly getting the money's worth.
Yeah, that's what their fans would have wanted, isn't it? Coming up to the Championship, they knew they had a first few games were going to be difficult to find points, so they would have wanted to compete and just play the way they play, and they're certainly doing that. From Barnsley point of view, if I was watching that first half, I'd be concerned because they were that bad. Second half, they did improve, and the Luton keeper, to be fair, has had a blinder in the second half to keep it 3-1.
Yeah, yes. But to be fair though, mate, we can go on. You know what I mean? They got beat by Birmingham last week away. It was probably a nothing game. You know what I mean? They're being beaten again this weekend. You know what I mean? They drew with Charlton the week before 2-2. They're shipping goals in. That's 2-2 and a 3 in 3 games, and that's got to be concerning. You know what I mean? For how good they were defensively last season in League One. You know what I mean? The Championship is a different animal. Of course it is. There's better centre forwards. There's better teams. There's bigger football clubs, but they need to find a way of stop letting goals in, because it's impossible for teams to guarantee scoring 3 goals week in, week out to win a game. And you know what I mean, when it comes to the crunch, you know what I mean, teams are going to find it quite easy to carve them open if they're just pumping balls in the box. Because like I said earlier, you know, I mean, no disrespect to Luton, but there's some better football clubs in this league, and when you're playing against the West Broms and the Cardiffs and the Fulhams, you know what I mean, they're going to ship even more goals, and it could knock confidence. It could cost the manager the job, because you know what I mean, we've seen already that people are unhappy with certain starts, and you know what I mean, teams like Barnsley can't afford to be a yo-yo club. You know what I mean, Barnsley are a big, massive football club. Oakwell's a big stadium. You know what I mean, and Barnsley deserve to be as high as they can in this league, and they've started a little bit slow. and slower than I think I thought they were going to do. There's some teams who shocked me, and Barnsley were one of them, because I thought they would have started a little bit brighter than they have.
Definitely. Jacob Butterfield for Luton, I thought was excellent. He's really good.
He's very good. He's a Championship player.
Barnsley.
Been there, wore the T-shirt. You know what I mean? He's done really well in the past. He's been promoted a couple of times, so he knows what it's all about. And you know what I mean? He grabbed the games in the middle of the park by the scruff of their neck, and I'm sure he'll play a huge part bringing some of them younger players through.
Absolutely. So next up was Stoke City 0, Leeds 3. Oh dear.
Well, the biggest thing when I saw for the Stoke game is that Federici started in goal and Jack Butland was on the bench.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. There's obviously
and he had a good game as well.
Well, there's obviously something not right. You know what I mean. There's obviously something that the manager is not happy with the way that the team started. So he's obviously made a few changes. He's trying to find the right balance. Federici came in. He's an excellent goalkeeper. Made some fantastic saves. Some of the attacking play by Leeds. The first 2 goals, excellent teamwork from Dallas's goal and Alioski's goal, and then Patrick Bamford. We spoke about. We were quite critical of him about 2 weeks ago for his lack of finishing and his composure in front of goal. But scored last week, scored again this week, and they're just free scoring. It could have been a lot more if it wasn't for Federici. Leeds could have been 4, 5, 6 up easily. You know, I mean, I know. The banter I have with Leeds fans on social media, and you know, I mean, we've never been critical with them on here. You know, I mean, they fully deserve to be where they are. They're ripping teams up left, right, and centre, but they do it year in, year out at the minute, but they always seem to fail at the last hurdle. And my concern at the minute is if they keep this going, you know what I mean, then nobody's going to be able to catch them because they look solid. You know what I mean? I was worried when they sold the centre half to Brentford, and they look solid at the back. They look pacey out wide. You've got Patrick Bamford playing out of his skin, scoring goals. Centre midfield, they're winning battles. It's just they look at the minute a very accomplished Championship side, and they look at the minute after 5 games for the team to catch.
Yeah, Glick and Hernandez in the middle of the pitch are just outstanding. Yeah. And what I noticed about, like I mentioned Glick a few times over the last couple of weeks, like the way he uses the ball and his vision, I think, are exceptional. But he was winning the physical battles as well in this game, and he was just dominating. And everything good which came through Leeds tended to either go through him or start with him winning the ball back and laying it off to Hernandez or someone else. Stuart Dallas's movement off the ball gave Stoke so many problems. They just couldn't seem to pick up the 2 wing backs. Yeah, because they like you just said, we discussed about Pontus Jansson going, and we thought maybe that might be their weakness at the start of the season. But they're playing with the 3 at the back. But the 2 wing backs, they don't necessarily stay wide. They cut in, they go all over the place. And Stuart Dallas, they just could not. They just couldn't seem to keep an eye on him.
Well, I think that's the difference between Leeds are playing with 2 wingers as wing backs. You know what I mean? They're not defenders, you know what I mean? So they're taking a risk, but it's a risk worth taking this league, because this league is all about scoring goals and attacking and being the forward-thinking side. And you know what I mean? I look at the Stoke side. You know what I mean? There was no Joe Allen. It put obviously Jack Butland didn't play. Joe Allen was on the bench. Hogan was on the bench on loan from Villa. Tom Ince on the bench. He made some massive calls, absolutely massive calls, did Jones, the gaffer. And you know what I mean, it's obviously massively backfired, because Leeds United was always going to be a tough game. So you need your best players on that football pitch to give yourself a chance to win the game. And if they're not careful, they're going to find themselves in a massive dogfight. And I've just named some players there who are technically very good footballers, but are they up for the fight? Are them Stoke City players up for the fight? And that's probably the concern that the Stoke City fans are going to have, and the manager's trying to find the balance, because he's another one under pressure. He's left a football club of Luton Town and took over at Stoke City, and he's finding himself under loads of pressure now.
Well, Stoke, they got off to a terrible start last year, and it cost Gary Rowett his job.
Yeah.
And if they're not careful, but then his Nathan Jones's interview was quite interesting afterwards, because he was he kind of intimating that perhaps the mentality within the squad isn't right, which is why he made the changes. And he seemed to be sort of hinting at the fact that you can keep sacking managers, but if the mentality within the squad doesn't change, it's just going to go round and round and round. And it'll be the same problem no matter the manager, because if the players are not focused or they're not committed or they're not doing what they need to do, it doesn't matter who the manager is.
I totally agree, and I think it would be an absolute travesty if Jones got the sack. We spoke about the Huddersfield scenario, and for me, he doesn't deserve. He's a up and coming young manager. He did a fantastic job at Luton Town, and he stepped up to be the Stoke manager. A big club, the more pressure comes with it. He needs time to implement his own team, his own players. He's working with players who probably lack massive confidence. Because they've had a couple of dire seasons and they're in a little bit of a dire straits. And he's worked with a very confident bunch of players at Luton Town who've got promoted. So it's mentally different what he's working with. He's working with better footballers, granted, but he needs to sort out the mental side and before he can get anything right. Because if they're not careful, it's going to be such a long season for them. Because he can't bring anybody in. Obviously, the loan window is going to shut very shortly, But at the minute, he's inundated with good players, and he's just got to find that right balance of the subs, the main 11 to get it out of this and to start this dogfight. Because Stoke City used to be quite a harrowing place to go as a player myself. The atmosphere down there at the Britannia was quite hostile, and what I saw on Saturday is Leeds just cut through them like butter and didn't look a hostile place at all. And if they're not careful, people are going to enjoy going there and picking up three regular points, and that'll concern Jones, and I'm sure he'll be working hard to get things right, and that'll start as soon as possible when they return to training.
Yeah, and Leeds brought on Helder Costa, which is one hell of a player to bring on in the Championship, and he was exceptional when he came on. But I thought it was a big risk to play Leeds and to with Glick and Hernandez in the middle of the park and not play Joe Allen.
Yeah.
He obviously had a plan for it, or maybe, I don't know if Allen was carrying a knock, but he's like their most experienced, probably their best midfielder. It seemed like a bit of a risk to me to go up against those guys.
I said that the three players I've just mentioned: Tom Ince, Joe Allen, Jack Butland. The experience in those three alone. The three on the day probably international footballers. So it's a big call. It obviously backfired a little bit, and I'm sure he'll make changes again. But as a player, you want to be in the side when you start winning, and that's down to the players to get that right. It's not that the manager will pick the team and wants to win, but the players also have to buy into what the manager wants, and it doesn't look at the minute like the players are buying into the philosophy of what Jones wants them to do.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Federici, I think it could have been embarrassing.
He made some fabulous saves, and I know we've been quite critical of Jack Butland, and for me, rightly so, because he's an England international goalkeeper. He's made a mistake in probably every single game that he's played this season, but I think apart from one, and he's lost his place. And I'm sure it might just be a kick with the backside. He might go back in. They might just brought him out the firing line for a game. Know it was going to be a really tough game, and stick him back in, because managers can do that. They can chop and change and share positions. But after, if you're Federici and you don't play next game, you'll be massively disappointed, because I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, and funny enough, Butland was better last week.
He was.
He looked a lot more focused, and he looked like he was like concentrating and focused and sharp. I don't know what he played like in the midweek game, but
I think it was a Preston game, wasn't it? He made an error. I think somebody might say you might have made two, but that's a difficult one. You make an error as a goalkeeper. We spoke about with your son, and you make it's such a position that it's not for everyone, because it's you're under pressure. Your concentration levels have to be so high, and the centre forward misses a chance. Patrick Bamford misses 2 goals. 2 easy chances a few weeks ago. Everyone forgets because he's scoring regular goals. It's such a different animal playing in goal, and and I'm sure he'll be back. He's good enough, you don't become a bad goalkeeper overnight, and he might just have to be a little bit patient now with Federici playing so well. Yeah,
he might have to wait his turn. Okay, next up was Fulham 1, Forest 2, which was the surprise, I thought, of the weekend.
Yeah, massively. I was massively shocked. I seen just some of the attacking play from Forest in the first half. You know what I mean? The delivery from Jack Robinson for Lewis Grabban's first goal. It was impossible to miss. You know what I mean? He whipped it in from the left, from the left, and Grabban's volley was excellent. You know what I mean? Open goal, but you know what I mean? He will score goals, Lewis Grabban, in that league. You know what I mean? He's £5 million signing last season from the new owners, and you know what I mean? If you keep him fit, he can lead the line. He's a Premiership centre forward, so drop down at the Championship, he'll get regular goals. He can lead the line on his own. You know what I mean? We spoke about Forest in pre-season, Si, about the kind of players and the attacking context that they've got, and the kind of players that they have, like Wolves had last year, and they had no fear when they went down to Fulham. They created chance after chance, especially in the first half, and Grabban got his 2 very good goals. His second goal in particular was a mistake for the Fulham defender, which I'm going to speak about later on. But I thought his confidence when he picked the ball up 25, 30 yards out to beat 3 or 4 players and smash it in off the post was just pure class. And you know what I mean, he just showed his class in the end, really. And then talk about Fulham. Fulham got better after the second goal and started peppering the Forest goal. But you can't give sides like Nottingham Forest a 2-goal head start. You know what I mean? You might have an excellent front three and some excellent midfielders who potentially should be Premier League players, but you know what I mean. You've got no divine right just to be given goals, and you know what I mean. Mitrovic scored his regular goal and will get a bag full this season, I believe. You know what I mean. He was my pick for best player in the Championship, and he just shows that he scores goals all of the time. And you give him a chance, he scores. He was a very good finish, but they just couldn't get over the line. And Samba made some great saves in goal for Forest. I thought he was excellent at the end. You know, I didn't think he was that busy in the first half, but his save towards the end to keep them 2-1 ahead was just different class.
Yeah, he was very good, Samba, in goal. I thought Joe Lally and Robinson on either side, their crossing was outstanding. I think Joe Lally was my pick last week.
Yeah, he was.
He's
getting better and better.
His delivery's been excellent the last couple of weeks. But I thought Forest, they kind of suckered Fulham in a bit. They just let him have the ball, and they let him have it, and they let him have it, and let him have it. And then as soon as they won it back, they just counter-attacked, and they looked dangerous every time. And
I think the problem with Fulham, mate, is because they battered. I think they battered Millwall in the week 4-0. They had something like 89% possession, and I think they think that if you keep the ball, you're going to win the game. But Forest sucker punched them a little bit. You know what I mean? They had a lot of the ball, Fulham, but you know what I mean. Forest had a game plan. They went there with the game plan, and you know when you go 1-0 up after 4 minutes, the whole game plan just goes out the window a little bit for Fulham. And you know what I mean. You've got to then chase goals and try and get that equaliser, and you overplay a little bit, like I just said there for the second goal. You know what I mean? It's all nice. It's all nicey when you're winning games and you're keeping the ball, but when you're giving balls away from the back 4 into players like Lewis Grabban and he scores, you know what I mean? You just look a little bit silly in the end.
Yeah, and you've got to have that cutting edge. You've got to create chances. And they did towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
But that first sort of the middle portion of the game, they didn't really create a great deal. Yeah. They just kind of, you know, they knocked it around lovely and they played some lovely stuff. But Forest were just clever, I think would be the word. Yeah. And Grabban, which I'll talk about a little bit when we talk about Cardiff, but you need a striker in the Championship who's going to bag you 15, 20 goals in the season.
Yeah. Guaranteed,
If they can keep Joe Lally and Robinson fit, Grabban's going to score bags of goals because their delivery is so good. Yeah. And if they create, he'll score.
Yeah.
And like you say, Mitrovic is, you know, he got his goal. And Fulham did do better the second half, but they made the error with Sessegnon, and they'll be disappointed. And you know they're going to expect to win every week. And you know let's not make a mistake. Doesn't matter who they're playing, they're going to expect to win every game. But they've got to earn, like you say, you've got to earn the right to win the game. You've got to do the hard work before you can do the easy stuff, as it were.
Yeah, they'll score goals. You know what I mean? They always keep good possession. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? They've had They've had a couple of home games this week. You know what I mean? It'd be interesting if they can dictate and dominate games away from home. You know what I mean? Because that's the test. You know what I mean? If you win your home games and you can pick up the odd point or 3 away, you know what I mean? You're in for a good season, and it'll be interesting. You know what I mean? Because they're obviously going to play against some better sides than Nottingham Forest this season. You know what I mean? Nottingham Forest on the day on Saturday deserved the 3 points. Thoroughly deserved it. They had a game plan. It dictated it very, very, very nicely. And you know, we said at the start of the season that they'll be decent. They'll be up there. They'll probably be in and around. You know what I mean? Just outside the playoffs, in my opinion. But if you're going to Fulham, your aspirations to do well this season have got to be higher than what probably I give them credit for at the start of the season.
Yeah, I think Forest need to find that consistency. Yeah, I think if they're going to get to the playoffs, because that's been their biggest problem over the last God knows how long, is that one game they could play like this. And to be fair, they played well for the last couple of weeks, but they need to find that consistency of results. We talked about the momentum in the Championship is so important. You've got to just keep churning out those wins. But they've, going forward, they've got the players to do it. It's just whether they can get that momentum going.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then we'll move on to the other games. We've got Borough 1, Millwall 1. So, I'll leave that one to you, mate.
Yeah, I went to the Riverside on Saturday to watch this, and to be fair, Millwall got battered through the week. I thought this was a quite easy 3 points. I just thought Middlesbrough could have got at them a little bit better and attacked them from the start. I thought Millwall were absolutely fantastic. Matt Smith dominated the game in the air. Every header he won. You know what I mean? And they'll be disappointed they didn't come away with the 3 points. You know what I mean? First half, they should have been 2 or 3 ahead, maybe more. Middlesbrough started the second half a lot better. Scored a very good goal. Paddy McNair scored an excellent goal driving from the midfield. And then Tom Bradshaw came on, and within 6 or 7 seconds of coming on the pitch, he scores. It was a ridiculous, you know what I mean? A ridiculous timing of bringing a substitution on and scoring. But it was a corner. Matt Smith headed it across and just tapped it in the line. And you know, I mean, they fully deserved that point, if not more. And you know, I mean, they came away there proud of themselves because obviously they let themselves down through the week, but they fully deserved the point at least.
Yeah, I thought I saw the highlights of it, and I thought actually that Millwall were a little bit unlucky not to perhaps get the 3. I thought they played really well. Yeah, Paddy McNair, who we talked about the other week about how when he'd left United, he'd lost a lot of confidence. But I thought he played really well. He scored a great goal. Really,
he did. It's just his driving side from midfield. He's driving. He's confident. He's wanting to get on the ball. He was just a pleasure to watch. You know what I mean? He's thoroughly deserved his goal. You know what I mean? He took his goal really well, driving from the midfield, and you know what I mean. Middlesbrough struggling in I'd probably say struggling in important areas. You know what I mean? Up front, they're really lacking ideas a little bit. But you know what I mean, the managers, it's going to be a long process. I don't think it's going to be a successful season in terms of where they finish. I think it'll be massively a transitional period which they need to ride out, and just as long as they can keep some dignity by the end of the season, I think they should be okay.
Yeah, I thought Borough perhaps could have had a penalty.
I think it was handball, if I'm honest. You know what I mean? I think the first one, not the second one. But you know what I mean? It is what it is. It was. You know what I mean? It would have been quite harsh, I think, with the result wise. You know what I mean? Because I think that would have been 2-0. Because I'll give them an opportunity to get to be 2-0. But yeah, throughout the season, I'm sure things even themselves out in due course.
Randolph was good in goal for Middlesbrough, particularly in the first half. I thought he made a couple of good saves.
He made a world class save when he tipped it over the crossbar, and then dashed about to keep it at 0-0 just before half time after hitting the crossbar. So he's a very good goalkeeper. You know what I mean? And luckily enough, they had a good goalkeeping goal, because if it was I think it was a young boy and you're getting the ball peppered at you all the time, you're going to make a mistake. And you know what I mean? I think it was talking about Jack Butland. I think it's it was pleasing to see a goalkeeper come off the pitch smelling the roses, really.
Yeah, definitely. Next up was Preston 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Preston just leaving me with egg on my face ever since I said they were going to go down, mate.
Yeah, well, I said this, you know what I mean? Daniel Johnson scores 2 penalties. You know what I mean? The beat a resurgent Sheffield Wednesday side. You know what I mean? Who, you know what I mean? They've still got this uncertainty. Not Sheffield Wednesday. You know what I mean? Are they going to give the manager the job? You know what I mean? And probably for Preston, it was probably good timing for them to play at home to them, because obviously they weren't on the good run anymore. Not Sheffield Wednesday. You know what I mean? It was a story of 2 penalties. Johnson's first penalty, keeper probably could have done a little bit better and saved it. And second penalty, the goalkeeper goes the opposite way and he puts in the wrong direction. And yeah, you know what I mean? They're making me and you look a little bit silly, but you know what I mean? There was always going to be a few shocks, and you know what I mean? If they continue the way they are, you know what I mean? They're certainly not going to be down the bottom of the league, like I expected them to be anyway.
Yeah, I stay with my tip to go down. The other thing is, Lee Bullen, we said that we thought that he should get the job, and ever since we said that, we seem to have cursed him a bit, because they've lost a couple of games, and it's one of them, in it, because he's caretaker boss. As soon as he loses a couple of games, you're thinking, oh, they're not going to keep him now, which it shouldn't be like that, but
yeah.
Just the
well, I think we said it last week, mate, didn't we? That we said that they lost last week, and we said I said that I think they should give him the job after a defeat, because it would show a little bit of confidence in the job he's doing and how he stabilised the club since Steve Bruce has left. And my stance still stays the same this week, that you know what I mean, after 2 defeats, give him the job, because who's gonna unless they're gonna bring in a new manager. Then they would have brought him in before now. So just for me, give him the job, give him an opportunity to excel. The players then know what's going on. You know what I mean? The whole football club then just can push in the same direction instead of just waiting around for something to happen, because that's what it seems like. We're just waiting for an announcement. Is it Lee Bullen? Are they waiting for someone else to leave a football club to announce a new manager? It's just it's a bit of a farce, really, when it comes to managers, because you know what I mean. Lee Bullen he's probably told how long he's got or what's going on, but it's, for me, I'd like to see him given the job, because I think he deserves it for the start he's had. You know what I mean, and that wouldn't change if he goes and loses midweek or next Saturday as well, because I still think he's done a really good job. Yeah,
I think the frustrating thing is that it's like, realistically, who are they waiting for? There's, it's not like, I don't know, there's no one seems to be jumping out and thinking, oh yeah, they're waiting for him. But equally, it's almost like, by keeping him as caretaker manager, the owners don't have to commit to him, so they can kind of just like see how it goes. Or if he goes bad, we can sack him without a load of compensation. Whereas if they give him a 2-year contract or a 3-year contract and then it goes bad, they got to pay out money. Not that I'm saying that is the reason, but it seems like almost like for the owners, like a ideal situation, in that they can just keep it on a almost week to week basis and just see how it goes and see how it progresses. Whereas I'm sure the players and the manager and the fans want to, they want to know one way or the other so they can build. And obviously, like you say, when he's taken over, they were in disarray. They'd lost their manager a couple of weeks before the season. Yeah. If that, deserves a bit of credit for the job he's done.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it would show the football world that sometimes it is fair as well, where, you know what I mean, a lot of people losing the jobs, you know what I mean, and I think that would show a little bit of a commitment towards him, and just give some of these young managers a little bit of belief that there is some good chairman out there, there is some good people who back the football club, instead of just waiting for someone to lose a job to go and snaffle another manager, so to speak. And it is what it is, you know what I mean. Sheffield Wednesday, you know what I mean. I'm sure they'll pick up some more points along the way. They're a big football club, you know what I mean. Fletcher scored another very good goal. He leads the line very well. Adam Reach came on, set it up with a very good cross. You know, it's Sheffield Wednesday, they're a big club, big football club. They just need to work out what's going on. You know what I mean? They've got a cup game in the week. They play QPR at home next weekend, and then I think they play Huddersfield in a derby on TV. So they've got some winnable games coming up as well.
Yeah, and I think the other thing on Lee Bullen is Preston scored 2 penalties. It's not like they got completely outplayed by Preston, and Preston dominated, and they were lucky to come away with sort of 2-1. 2 penalties. Yeah, you've got to score penalties, but
yeah, but 100% penalties. Both were definite penalties. They were dreadful tackles in the box. It was just some ridiculous decisions.
Silly tackles, weren't they?
Yeah, especially the second one. You know what I mean? He's gone past Jay. There's no need to go to the floor. But yeah, you know what I mean? You learn, you know what I mean? Lee Bullen was a defender himself, and I'm sure he'll be on the training pitch today showing them how to defend properly for the midweek cup game and for next week's games. But you can't gift any team in that league opportunities from the penalty spot, because someone like Daniel Johnson, you know what I mean? 2 penalties in one game. He looked more composed for the second one than his first one.
Yeah, Stephen Fletcher will always score goals and I felt like when they brought on the boy who crossed it, I forgot his name.
Adam Reach.
That's it, yeah. They started to get some service up to him, and they looked a bit more dangerous. And if they put the ball in the right areas, he'll always score goals. I thought the Wednesday keeper deserved a mention as well. I thought he made some great saves.
Yeah, he did. Well, I think we've been quite critical on here about goalkeepers, and rightly so. You know what I mean? Because some of the massive goalkeepers of big names are making some really, really, really bad errors. But you know what I mean? Westwood, you know what I mean? He's a Republic of Ireland international goalkeeper anyway. So he's a very good goalkeeper.
Yeah, he was good. Next up, Hull 1, Bristol 3.
Bristol City are I wouldn't say they're surprising me, but I didn't expect them to hit the ground running like they are. You know what I mean? They spent big money on Callas. They've obviously brought Afobe in, got himself 2 goals. You know what I mean? So they're playing really well at the minute. They won the last 3 games, so you know what I mean? 2 away games at Hull and Derby. You know what I mean? That's 2 massive wins away from home. And you know what I mean? I know they play Middlesbrough next Saturday on the TV at lunchtime. And if you can make that 4 out of 4, you know what I mean? You're absolutely flying, because they're a big club. And you know what I mean? Lee Johnson seems to know this league and seems to know the kind of players which gains results in this league. And you know what I mean? Afobe was a strange one. We spoke about this last week about why he left Stoke City and signed for Bristol City. You know what I mean? Because for me, he was dropping down from a big club to maybe he's a lesser football club in terms of structure and size. You know what I mean? But the way the season's panning out, you know what I mean? He's made the right decision, because Bristol City are free scoring, creating chance after chance. You know what I mean? Like Hull goalkeeper kept him in it, even with some fantastic saves. And the scoreline could have been a hell of a lot worse. And yeah, your mate got his standard goal as well for Hull, Jared Bowen, which was pleasing.
Yeah, it was a great ball as well to hit it through. And these Hull started really sloppy, and then the middle sort of third of the game they did all right, and then the end they struggled to really push on and get chances. Yeah. But obviously they scored. Jared Bowen scored just before half time.
Yeah, perfect time to score.
Yeah, great finish as well. Great ball, great finish. They hit him on the break. Yeah. And then after the break, they looked quite dangerous. And then as soon as Bristol scored, Hull kind of struggled then to really try and get back into the game and create clear chances to bring it back. And then obviously Bristol scored again. Afobe's doing well for Bristol, and he suits the way they play.
Yeah, he does.
Kind of the pacier guys in and around him. He's always going to score goals in the Championship.
He is, yeah. I think so. He seems to have brought in a good mix of players. He obviously identified what he needed to improve. And you know what I mean? It's front 3. You know what I mean? He's got Weinman, who I think set up one of Afobe's goals. Obviously, Afobe could have got his hat trick if the own goal didn't happen, because he was just behind, just ready to tap it in. You know what I mean? So he's obviously playing with a hell of a lot of confidence. He brought in Callas for, I think he spent £8 million in the summer. So, you know what I mean? He realised that he needed to bring a big name centre half in, and you know what I mean? He was marshalling the back three and doing a great job. And I'm sure if they continue the way that they are, they're going to continue to rip up the Championship going forward. And you know, it pains me to say that they could be there and thereabouts if they continue to do what they are.
Yeah, and we'll talk a bit more about identifying what you need in the summer and then signing what you need. But we'll talk about that in a minute. QPR next, 3-1 against Wigan. QPR have been surprising to me.
It's surprising to me, but the way that I watched them in the first game of the season with Eze scoring that for me, that with a world class goal. You know what I mean? He's scoring regular goals in the Championship, and you know what I mean. Didn't hear of him last year. You know what I mean? Didn't hear of him at all. You know what I mean? But when you've got front players for QPR, you've got Naki Wells. He's done it in the Championship. He's even done it in the Premier League. Eze's scoring, looks full of confidence, looks dangerous, looks strong. And then you've got Jordan Hugill to come off the bench and scored a very good goal. I'm going to mention what he did also later on because I think everyone on social media, I think I must have retweeted it about 14 times this weekend. But no, those front three, it's scary for this league. And you know what I mean? I look at every Championship side who's doing well at the minute, and all the centre forwards are scoring goals. They're creating chances, and that's not happening for every team. You know what I mean? I've just spoken about Middlesbrough struggling, Cardiff are struggling to score goals, and you know what I mean? I can't understand why the lesser clubs are free scoring, and some of the clubs that we expected.
Do you think some of these clubs, like QPR, Charlton, even Hull, they're playing with these young, Bristol as well. They've got a mix of experience and youth. So with obviously Bristol got a bit of experience up top, but like QPR, Charlton, they've got these young players up front. They're quite often playing with like one sort of central and one either side or one just off.
Yeah.
And they're so quick. As soon as they win that ball back, they get it into those forward three. And the pace is destroying teams, which teams like Middlesbrough, Cardiff, and a couple of others maybe haven't got those sort of young, speedy, strong players right at the business end of the field.
Yeah.
Certainly in Cardiff's case, that's a big issue at the moment.
Well, I think
Easy scored a great free kick as well.
Yeah, well, I think you just hit the nail on the head for me then, Si. You know what I mean? We just spoke about Afobe. You know what I mean? Big, strong, fit, athletic, Eze, same kind of thing. You know what I mean? Naki Wells, he got pace to burn. You know what I mean? He knows where the goal is. And I just, it's Leeds United, you know what I mean? Fresh, young, energetic. You know what I mean? That players are getting older, getting slower. You know what I mean? I know it myself. You know what I mean? You know when your legs are going a little bit and you're losing that little bit of sharpness going forward. So you adapt your game a little bit. You know what I mean? Jordan Hugill coming on. He's probably not as quick and nifty with his feet that he was 5, 6, 7 years ago when he was scoring regular goals for Preston. So he adapts his game, and you know what I mean, leads the line in a different way. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, that they're free scoring, especially second half. You know what I mean? They're 1-0 down at the weekend, and rightly so. It could have been. They probably should have been 2 down at half time. But when you've got those kind of players to bring on, those kind of players in your armour, you're always going to create chances and score goals, because in the end it was 3-1, but it could have been, and probably should have been, a little bit more.
Yeah, it should have been at least one more, shouldn't it?
At least one, yeah.
Wigan, the one thing which is frustrating me massively as a Cardiff fan is the first game of the season, they were so solid against Cardiff at the back, and I just thought, wow, that's impressive. They were so solid, and ever since they've been absolute garbage at the back.
Yeah, well, I've seen the game. They played Middlesbrough in the week, and I looked at the team sheet before the start of the game, and I looked at the team sheet when they played Cardiff, and the 3 front players, Windass in particular, you know, he's obviously injured now, and so you know what I mean. So he started the season really, really well, really sharp, and they're massively missing him because you know what I mean. I think that their squad's very thin. So they've put all the eggs in one basket, and they haven't really got backup for when they're not playing. So Cardiff obviously got punished on the first game of the season by the players being fit. You know what I mean? And Middlesbrough got the first 3 points of the season through the week when Wigan are missing a lot of players, and you know what I mean. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for teams that's happening. You're getting punished that way, but you know what I mean. It swings around of us, I guess. That you know what I mean. That when players don't play or players do play, and it might help Cardiff that some of these players might be back when they're playing the likes of Leeds or they're playing the likes of Fulham, and they can take some points off some of the bigger clubs.
Fingers crossed. It won't matter the way Cardiff are going. Next up was I'm pessimistic today.
I can tell.
Cardiff's chances frustrated. Huddersfield 0, Reading 2.
I'm running out of things to say about Huddersfield at the minute. You know what I mean? If they're not massively careful soon and they don't make the right choice in manager, they're going to fall through the trapdoor the same as other teams have in the past. And if they're not careful, you know what I mean, they're going to find themselves like a Sunderland, like a Portsmouth, like Man City did a few years ago, and they find themselves in League One still picking up parachute money, which means nothing at all unless you get things right on the pitch. Because that football club can be as big as it wants, but you're judged by what's going on the pitch, and you know what I mean. They're probably hitting teams. They're probably getting punished a little bit by. Last week it was Fulham playing well, scoring goals. This week Reading, you know what I mean, full of confidence after what happened at Cardiff the week before, and obviously got a good result in the week at West Brom. So Reading are doing really, really well, and they've surprised me massively. They're going forward, scoring some very good goals, defending really well. You know what I mean, but it's got to be worried. You've got to be, if you're a Huddersfield fan, a Huddersfield chairman, even a Huddersfield player, you've got to be worried because they're in dire straits at the minute, and I don't see it turning around because a new manager comes in. What can he do? You can only work with the players who are there. You can't bring in anybody unless they're bringing somebody in the next few days or next week to bring in for a loan player to bring in the loan window, and it's gonna be worrying. It's worrying times for them. You know what I mean? They lost against Cardiff very late. Give Cardiff a good go. They've got a lad on loan from Chelsea, Chalobah, who looks a neat and tidy footballer. But end of the day, you can have neat and tidy footballers all you want. This Championship game is like I keep saying, it's a different animal, and they're losing battles all the time. And teams are now going to Huddersfield and enjoying playing on a nice pitch in a big stadium. And you know what I mean, and they can probably hear the boos from the first minute of the minute because the things are just not happening at all, and the confidence from getting relegated quite early is just filtering through to the Championship season. And you know what I mean, I've always loved going to watch Huddersfield. I've always loved playing there. It's a lovely football club, but unfortunately, a lovely football club doesn't breed success, and it's certainly not happening there at the minute.
I think one of the biggest problems they've got is, like you say, if they bring a new manager in, you can only work with the players they've got. Yeah. And what I noticed against Reading is they worked very, very hard for 60, 70 minutes, and then they got a bit tired, but they lacked quality. They worked hard, they tried hard, but they just didn't have anything.
No, they're struggling in they're struggling in the final third. They're struggling centre forward wise. They're struggling going forward a little bit. They get round the back. They put good crosses in. I watched them last Friday, week Friday against Fulham, and the first half they impressed me. But like you say, there after half time they ran out of steam. Their ideas then just look limited, and they find themselves 1-0 down. They find themselves to give another goal away, and uphill battle, you know what I mean, and it's going to be, if they're not careful, it's going to be a long season for them because, you know what I mean, there's some horrible teams in the Championship, you know what I mean. They go to Luton next Saturday, and the way Luton are playing, you know what I mean, they'll look forward to that, and then you've got a local derby against Sheffield Wednesday, and you know what I mean, local derbies that will probably be a good game for them because it will be a big sellout crowd, I'm hoping, and normally anyone can beat anyone in a derby, but you can only look at the next game. They go to Luton Town next Saturday, and I do fear for them because Luton will just go at them from the first minute, I believe, and free scoring if you're at the minute, you know what I mean. It might be a high scoring game, that one.
Yeah, I mean, there's September fixtures: Sheffield Wednesday, West Brom, and Millwall. They could easily come away with no points from those 3 games.
Yeah, agree. And
if West Brom look better,
by then though, that's end of September, and everyone's played 10 games, 11 games, and by the time that's happened, you know what I mean, the league's starting to unfold a little bit, and you know what I mean, you're then looking at a relegation battle in October, November, and you know what I mean, it's too big of a football club to be talking like we are. But we've said this at the start of the season in the show that no one's got the God divine right to not get out of this league or stay in this league unless you put the effort in or have the quality. And at the minute, they haven't got either.
Yeah. Jonathan Swift was excellent for Reading. I thought Ajari with a nice finish. Michael Morrison with a fantastic header as well to the second goal.
They've impressed me going forward. We said about from the Cardiff game, and you know what I mean. They look strong defensively going forward. They've got pace to burn. You know what I mean. They're hitting teams on the counter attack like they did to Cardiff. You know what I mean. They soak up a lot of pressure, and they've just got young, energetic midfielders, wide men, and centre forwards, and you know what I mean. I think they're certainly going to shock a few teams to continue the way they are, because they've started the season really, really well.
Yeah, they could be. I think they could be the. There's always one team who's there or thereabouts to playoffs.
Yeah,
who you didn't expect at the start of the season, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe not make it, but like top 10.
Yeah,
that team which is pushing for it at the end of the season.
Yeah, well, the way they've started, they deserve it, side, because you know what I mean. They've played some tough. You know what I mean, you look at Cardiff City, Premier League side last year, blew them out of the water. Huddersfield, Premier League last season, blew them out of the water. You know what I mean. They're sitting themselves in mid-table 11th with 7 points. You know what I mean, with some home games to come. So you know what I mean. Why shouldn't they be upsetting the likes of Swansea's, the Bristol Cities, the Fulhams, you know what I mean, and being in and around there, because they've already shown that they can mix it with the best so far.
Absolutely. And next is Derby 1, West Brom 1.
The early game, the early fixture. The tale of 2 penalties for Martin Waghorn. You know, the first one, he got the ball on the right hand side, and to be honest, when I was watching the game and I seen him getting out there, I think sometimes you want to see a centre forward in the box. You know what I mean? Because that's when he got his goal last week. That's when he looked at danger. He got the ball out wide with no danger whatsoever. But the West Brom defence, for whatever reason, allowed him to get close to the box. And then by the time he's got in there, you're struggling because you can't touch him. And then once he's got ahead of you, you know what I mean, ridiculous decision to even stick your leg out there, and blatant penalty. He took his penalty really well. And then obviously didn't take his second penalty so well, but deservedly so. I thought it was an excellent save as well. So you know, you've got to give the goalkeeper some credit. You know what I mean? We've been quite critical of goalkeepers. You know what I mean? You've got a goalkeeper who got promoted last year with Villa, Sam Johnson, made an excellent save in a very big game, Sky Sports game, live game, and then obviously the penalty to equalise, which give ex-Cardiff City striker Zaha his first goal for his club. And you know what I mean, hopefully for him, it gives him an opportunity to kick on and do well, because you know what I mean, he hasn't had a great start to his West Brom campaign. He's missed some sitters. You know what I mean, by reading some things on social media that the fans have in touch with him very well, and you know what I mean. But he still had the confidence to step up and take a penalty with 5 minutes to go to equalise, and so full credit to him. And hopefully now as a centre forward, he can go on to go and score some goals for them, because you know what I mean, he's a confidence player, and you know what I mean, he'll need his first goal out of the way, and he'll now look forward to the next, and hopefully it's a run of goals for him to kick on for to get the next and get the next.
Yeah, he missed a 1-on-1 just before half time as well, which he should have scored.
Yeah, well, he's missed a few easier chances this season, but he keeps getting in the position side. And we spoke about Patrick Bamford and how better he should be doing. And I think since we've said that, he's gone on a decent run and scored some goals. And Zaha seems to be creating and getting a little bit more chances in this team than he probably was playing for Cardiff. So, you know what I mean? If he's getting the chances, he should be doing a little bit better with them, and maybe it might be the start of something for him.
Yeah, possibly. He's got the ability. It's just whether he can. His head's right. Sam Johnson, I thought, was excellent in goal, and that second penalty for Derby was ridiculous.
No, it was never a pen, never a pen
decision
at all, and it was justice that he saved it. But you know what I mean? To give handball, it's him in the shoulder. He's turned his body around, hit him in the shoulder. It should never have been. You know, and we talk about VAR. You know what I mean? And it would have taken 5 seconds to show that wasn't a penalty, because that goes in 2-0 just before half time. That would have absolutely ruined that game, and Derby probably would have gone on to win that 2-3-4, because you know what I mean, that the West Brom players would have been boiling at half time, and it would have been hard for them to concentrate to go out for a big second half. But you know what I mean, thankfully, you know what I mean, justice prevailed, and Johnson was able to be the hero, and then I think a point was a fair result. You know what I mean? I think West Brom have started quite solid. You know what I mean? They've had some tough games, but they're scoring regular goals. They create chances. You know what I mean? They look a strong outfit this season, and I'm sure that Slaven Bilic will have them up there by the end of the season. Even though he got himself sent off though, so if he's not if he's not in the stadium next week, then. In the stand, yeah. But he's like that. He wears his heart on his sleeve, Slaven Bilic. You know what I mean? He's very opinionated, and you know what I mean. I think a manager like him will struggle with this new rule, because you know what I mean. He's probably been able to say a lot more things over the years and get away with it than he's able to now.
Yeah. So I had Cardiff up next, but I'm going to skip them and come back to them. Okay. Next up, Charlton 1, Brentford 0. Conor Gallagher scored the only goal from a Johnny Williams pass. Johnny Williams was outstanding in this game.
Yeah, well played.
Really good.
So I can't say many more good things about Lee Boylan's Charlton side. You know what I mean? They're going forward. They're creating chances. One thing I did like though, Brentford finished with a flourish, and I think it was a spell in the second half that some of the Charlton boys threw their body on the line.
Yes.
I think it was five defensive blocks, and I was in awe about it. I was so made up, because it just showed that the players back the manager, because things like that just show that the care. You know what I mean? That so want to hold on to their 3 points and the clean sheet, and you know what I mean, and they're just playing really well at the minute. And you know what I mean, Lyle Taylor, you know, he didn't score, but he looks a threat. He looks very confident. He's got a bit of a swagger about him. He leads the line really well, and he'll always get chances. And you know what I mean, Lee Boy is getting the best out of him, because people start to question the teams who come up. And people like Lyle Taylor, and can you do it in the Championship? You know what I mean? Can Collins do it for Luton Town? And both of them so far are sticking 2 fingers up in the division, and they're doing really well, and thoroughly deserve to be where they are in the league, 3rd in the league for a side who's come up from League One. Long may it continue, because the Valley will become, if they continue, a not very nice place to go and play football. Yeah,
and I think I've talked over the last couple of weeks about Bowie tactically has really impressed me, where he's adapted his formation or his tactics depending on who they're playing. But what impressed me with this game was that they did well in possession, and they did all the things that they've been doing all season, but they just showed a grittier, more determined side just to protect that lead, particularly in that second half when Brentford started to, like you said, get a bit of momentum going forward. And Jason Pearce, he made one tackle, I think, about 20 minutes from the end. It was like the ball's got to bounce through, and the guy was going to volley it, and Jason Pearce kind of slid from like a yard behind him and hooked his leg around it. Unbelievable tackle. Yeah. And then straight after, he made like 2 blocks.
Yeah, they were just like rocks, all of them. You know what I mean? They were just solid. They just knew exactly what they wanted. You know what I mean? They looked like they would just throw their bodies on the line for the football club, and you know what I mean. It must have made the manager super proud to be able to see his side dig in, because you know what I mean, that league, they're going to have to do that a lot of times this season. You know what I mean, to hang on to things, because you know what I mean, teams like Brentford, who are a good side, are going to throw the kitchen sink at you towards the end of the game, because you've got nothing to lose. You might as well lose the game 2 or 3-0 then. And give it a go, and they give it a go. You know what I mean? They were unlucky not to get the equaliser. I thought there wasn't that many clear cut chances in the game, but I thought they probably could have nicked some at the end. But superb defending, and you know what I mean. I can't say any more good things about Lee Boyer and his side.
Absolutely, yeah. He's been really impressive, Bowyer and Charlton. So next up, Swansea, one but last, is Swansea 3, Birmingham 0.
I thought they were excellent, mates. I pains me to say at times, you know what I mean. They play the neat and tidy football. They play it really well. Baston leads the line really well. He's, you know what I mean. He looks a handful for any centre half. You know what I mean. Going forward. They look dangerous. They scored some very good goals. You know what I mean? They dominated the game from especially from half time. You know what I mean? They probably should have gone in at half time ahead. They could have had a penalty just before McNaughton scored his first goal. I thought it was a push in the back on Baston, but it went on the back. He came back. McNaughton scored a decent finish. Probably goalkeeper I fault a little bit, but the other 2 goals were excellent. And Lee Campbell goal for Birmingham made some excellent saves as well. It could have been a hell of a lot worse for them on the day, and so far for Swansea, you know what I mean, they're deservedly where they are in the league, and could be a successful season to carry on. The manager's got them playing probably back to the Swansea way of playing football, of the intricate football and neat and tidy football of when Leon Britton was in midfield, but at the minute they've got a little bit extra. You know what I mean? They've got that creativity and the creating chances. They've got a little bit more pace going forward of old, and they're keeping clean sheets, and they look solid. Look solid at the minute.
Yeah, Baston was exceptional again, and he could have had a couple. Like you say, Lee Camp played very well in goal. He made a couple of good saves. There was one from Baston which was really, really good.
Yeah,
they were good goals. They played well. They moved the ball quick, which makes it very difficult for a team like Birmingham, which is made up predominantly of very young players.
Yeah,
teams like Swansea, if they get their game going, it's very difficult to stop. I thought Connor Roberts nearly made my 2-up for this week, because I was that impressed with him. I thought he was incredible, but he didn't make my 2-up, so he gets a special mention now. Okay, lastly, we'll talk Cardiff 0, Blackburn 0. I think it's the only goalless game of the.
It was, and to be fair, I was surprised. I was surprised it ended goalless, because there was enough chances in the game for there to be a goal. You know what I mean? There's just something not ticking for Cardiff at the minute. There's something not right going forward. You know what I mean? They're not as much of a threat as I thought they would be. I will say defensively, I thought they looked a lot more solid. You know what I mean? Especially after what happened at Reading. You know what I mean? We were very critical, and a lot of people have started to question the manager about some of his tactics and team selections, and you know what I mean? Especially you got Aidan Flint coming in. You're expecting them, for me, to be a little bit more solid than what they were. And I thought Saturday defensively, I thought they were excellent. You know what I mean? That Smithies made a decent save in the first half, but I thought defensively, I thought they were sound and probably deserved a clean sheet. But going forward, didn't really create as much as what I expected. Clear-cut chances. I think they had enough of the ball to make things happen, but clear-cut chances, few and far between. You know what I mean? Joe Rawls hit the post quite late in the second half, and there's a few half chances, but not enough chances for me to go and clearly win games like some of the other sides are in the league. You know what I mean? That I look at Afobe, brace, Lewis Grabbing, brace, Baston leading the line, Paddy Bamford scoring goals, Mitrovic scoring regular goals. This isn't happening for Cardiff City at the minute, and they haven't got one of those kind of players at the minute. Gladstone, new for the Championship, you know what I mean? And it's going to be a big ask for him to score the 15, 20, 25 goals which you need for a team to fly up that league the way that other teams seem that like they are.
Yeah, I think you're right in that they look better defensively, and that's good because they were all over the shop versus Reading. They were dreadful.
Yeah.
So it was important that they got back to that solid base. And to be fair, they've conceded quite a lot of goals this year. They conceded 3 on the opening day, was it?
3 at Reading,
so
one against Luton. So, you know what I mean, defensively, they need clean sheets, you know what I mean? Because when Etheridge was in goal, the year that we got promoted, you know what I mean, they based everything on clean sheets. 1 goal was always enough to win the game, you know what I mean? Like, or you go and get 1-1 draw, which your point churns it over where, you know what I mean, 1 goal on Saturday would have been enough, but not clinical enough, not creating enough. You know what I mean? I am a big fan of Tomlin. I am a big fan that he's got himself back in the side, but you also need that little bit more, that little bit extra. And you know what I mean, when these games are that tight, we need a goal. You need a goal from it. You need to dominate games a little bit more, because against a team like Blackburn, I think if you go and score the first goal, they're not massively full of confidence, and you can go and win that game 2 or 3 easily. Because but they're not letting many goals in either at home. They had a sloppy start, but since they beat Middlesbrough, another one in the cup, and then they beat Middlesbrough, you know what I mean, they've picked up a little bit, because they beat Hull as well, you know what I mean. So they've had 3 clean sheets on the belt, and you know what I mean, and they're always going to be a threat going forward with the Danny Grahams and with the Stewie Downings of this world. But you know what I mean, the Bradley Dacks. So it's, you know what I mean, it's going to be I think a tough and frustrating season for Cardiff if they don't get this final third right, because it's where things happen. It's what excites fans. And we just named some of them teams and some of them players who are scoring goals and creating chances. You know what I mean? I think every Cardiff fan in the world wants to see them kind of teams, that those kind of things happening for us, because that's why you pay your money to watch that kind of excitement week in, week out. And at the minute, it's just not happening.
Yeah, Joe Rolls was tidy and decent enough again, but like even with Lee Tomlin, I think because he's missed so much football over the last couple of years, it may take him a bit of time to get going. Like he's got up to fitness and he's in the best shape of his life, and he looks healthy.
Yeah,
but I think it might take him a few weeks to get back up to that top Championship player, which he's capable of being. Creative Championship player. And the problem is you've got him trying to find his way back in. You've got Glatzel coming from another country, don't know if he's going to do it in the Championship. He might he might not.
Yeah, he's going to find it hard. It's going to be a process for him, that he's got a slow process, you know what I mean? Some of the games, like the Blackburn game and the Reading games, you know what I mean, the tough games to go and play in, you know what I mean? He probably needs to be slowly given the home games where we're going to dominate the games a little bit more, that he's going to get more chances. He's probably going to get a little bit more frustrated, because German football is so different and more technical than the Championship football. The Championship is guts and thunder. It's a lot more physical, and you know what I mean, when you're playing against physical centre halves, he's gonna find it a little bit more difficult, I believe. And it's, you know what I mean, it's the likes of the Aforbes and Lewis Grabbins and the Paddy Bamfords and the Mitrovic who know the leagues inside out, because they've played in it for other clubs or in a previous season, and they're the ones who are reaping the rewards at the minute, because they know exactly what it's all about.
Yes, I do think Cardiff may pay the price for not going for a proven Championship striker.
Yeah,
you know, Glatzel might turn out to be a fantastic player for him, but I just felt in the summer they should have gone for like a tried and tested Championship striker, someone who gets you can almost guarantee will get you 20 goals in the Championship. Because I felt like everything else was pretty solid, but they needed that, and they've needed that for 2 years. You know, when they went up to the Premier League, they needed a striker who was going to score on goals, and ultimately it probably cost them, because they only just went down, and they probably went down because they didn't score enough.
Yeah, no, I agree. But goals change games and goals win games, and the only way to gain 3 points is by scoring goals. And I just hope he doesn't come back and bite him on the backside, because it would be such a shame to to be chasing the likes of the Leeds and the Bristol Cities and Swansea's because they're scoring goals. I just hope that something changes for Cardiff so they can start shooting up their league again.
Yeah, maybe something, hopefully something will click.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the games, and we'll move on to finish now with our 2 up, or 2 for 2, as it were. So we'll go with the downs this week. I'm pretty sure, obviously we don't discuss this beforehand.
No, we don't know.
But I'm pretty sure that we've picked the same ones, but we'll see now.
I think we'll definitely have the first one.
Yeah.
Jordan Hugill for his miss, his open goal. I've seen it about 15, 16 times, and every time I see it, it is one of those misses that you can't believe it's happened. It's probably one of the easiest things. It's just a concentration thing. You know what I mean? He could have hit it with any part of his body. It would have gone in, trickled over the line. He's tried to get a good connection, and it's gone over the stadium, and it's just a horror miss. And you know what I mean? Luckily enough for him, he scored a goal after it, but it was such a bad miss for a very talented footballer.
Yeah, I got him too. And what I found is every time I've watched it, it seems to get closer.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it seems to be. It seems it's on the line. It doesn't seem to be that.
It is
that far out. It's just
It's a good yard, maybe 2 inside the 6-yard box. So he's done well to get it.
He's done great for it. He's done great. Good luck to him. What's your second one then, Si? I'll let you go first.
Stefan Sessegnon from Fulham.
Yes.
For his mistake, because it ultimately cost Fulham.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling that you might have picked him.
I like him. I like him.
I do as well.
I like him, but you know what I mean. There's you know what I mean. You're taught as a young kid, you know what I mean, where to play and when not to play, and you know what I mean. Being brave on the ball is one thing, but you play out from the back. You can't be taking those kind of risks and try and dribble the ball out. And you know what I mean. He's learned the hard way, because probably even when he gave the ball away and Lewis Graben ended up getting the ball, that you still thought there was a lot to do. I did, you know, when I saw the goal, but he's been punished. And I'm sure he won't make that mistake again, because he's obviously a family of very good footballers, the Sessegnons, and you know what I mean. I'm sure he won't want to see that again, because it's cost him the 3 points, or at least a point, because being 1-0 down is one thing, but that second goal is made a massive uphill task for them, and they were never going to get a result after that for me. And you know what I mean. He took one for the team, literally, I think.
Yeah, and I had a feeling that you had picked him as well by something you'd said earlier on as well.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
I did. I got to say, I struggled more for the downs this week, other than the Jordan Hugill one.
Yeah, I think I did.
More so than I have for any of the other weeks. Like the last couple of weeks, there's been like 1 or 2, but I struggled a bit more for the downs this week.
Yeah.
So who have you got for your first up?
My first up, I've gone for Lewis Graben. You know, it's 2 goals. Yeah, I just said there about his second goal. I thought, you know, I mean, when he got the ball, I thought there was still a lot to do. And then even the finish, you know, I mean, he's 1-1 on the goalkeeper. That's the time to compose yourself, or just smash it in off the post. And you know what I mean. He looks at the minute that he's got confidence. He's got a little bit of arrogance about him, and you know what I mean. And I believe he'll get a lot of goals this season if he can stay fit, because, like you say, the people out wide putting some great balls in the box for him. You know what I mean. Lolly from the right hand side. He's going to get a lot more goals, and I'm sure if he continues to play like he did on Saturday, he's going to be in the 2 ups quite regular.
Absolutely. So this week, it's the first week I think, because I haven't put Jared Bowen in. I got Jason Pearce from the centre back from Charlton.
Like I had an idea you were going to say that. Yeah.
He's a leader all game, and he made that one unbelievable tackle I said in the second half, which was like last ditch. But he also then went on to make, I think, 3 blocks straight after.
Yeah.
You know, and it pretty much helped secure the win for him, because they only won 1-0.
Yeah.
So he was mine.
My second up, I've gone a goalkeeper, because we're quite critical on goalkeepers. So I've gone for Sam Johnson for his penalty save, because I thought it was I told you. I just think Timing wise, you know what I mean? It wasn't a penalty, of course it wasn't, but the save I thought was excellent. You know what I mean? He's a very good goalkeeper. He's been promoted out of this league last year for Villa, and he got my vote.
Yeah, I've got him too. We might have to start discussing these, mate. It could get boring otherwise, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It just shows good preparation.
Yeah, that's it. It's a good judge of character.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So, and to finish off, we got the Q&A. We had 2 questions this week, so a lot less than last week. And I've got the one which I'd saved because it's a bit longer, but I might save it again. We'll see now. So Neil Greaves asks you, if you were a young pro in today's game, would you try to stay longer at Borough?
Ooh, a tough one. It's a difficult one because you want to play football and you need to play football. Any young player needs to play football and grow up and be able to play at a stage for first team games. And the reason why I left Middlesbrough is because I wasn't getting enough first team football. So at the time, I made the right decision. If I was playing week in, week out for Middlesbrough, would I have left? No, it would have been stupid to leave. So for me, the decision was purely a football decision. You know, I left my hometown, my loved football club where I live now. Still go and watch them. You know what I mean? So it was a massive call for me to make. But it was a pure football decision and wanting to play regular first team football. And I think any footballer in the world wants to play football. You know what I mean? You're getting paid good money, rubbish money, whatever you may call it. You want to play and you want to earn it. And you know what I mean? I loved playing football. And what frustrated me a lot during my career at times was working hard all week and then not enjoying my weekends because I didn't play. And it just, you know, I wanted to play on a Saturday. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a rubbish week and not train and be ready for a Saturday and gear up for a Saturday instead of working hard all week, enjoying my training, and then having the big letdown on the Saturday of not being in the squad or not being in the team and being frustrated and then starting over again on the Monday. It was mentally tough and also physically tough as well because you're putting more pressure on yourself all the time. So I believe that I made the right decision for me. It's different for everybody else, and I would have loved to stay. Don't get me wrong, but then my life would have been different. I wouldn't have scored that goal for Cardiff City, and you know what I mean. So I don't regret any of it. So it's, you know, for me it was the right call, and if I was doing it again, I'd make the same call again.
Cool. And the other one was from Johnny Wishbone. He loves it. Johnny Wish does.
Yeah, he does.
Loves the questions.
Good questions as well.
Yeah. He says he's seen a lot of Cardiff fans bickering on social media, haven't we all?
Yeah.
Regarding criticising Neil Warnock. He said, when is a sufficient amount of time passed that he's open to criticism of his squad and transfer business?
Well, the buck stands with Neil Warnock, you know what I mean, and the pressure, the pressure is on his shoulders. He's got to perform, and if it is right that he is leaving at the end of the season, he's going to retire from football, then he's going to want to. What he's going to say, he's going to want to go off on a high. He's going to, you know what I mean. He'll be distraught at what's happening now, but it's his squad. You know what I mean. There's no excuse at the minute with the way that they're playing. He's got a good squad of players, an excellent squad for the Championship. Should be doing a lot better. So, you know what I mean? The criticism is probably right. And, you know what I mean? He's got to find a way of getting results. You know what I mean? He's an excellent manager. He's been promoted more times in the Championship than anybody else. And, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? People are going to criticise for results. They've got every right with the way that the season started. You know what I mean? Because I thought they would have started a little bit better. I thought they would have come down still with a bit of confidence about them from the Premier League because they gave it a right go and they didn't get relegated straight away like Huddersfield did. And you know what I mean, I fully expected a better start of the season than what they've had. And you know what I mean, I think at the minute Neil Warnock has got broad shoulders. You know what I mean, he'll take it on the chin a little bit, but deep down he'll be hurting as well. And I think any kind of criticism what he's getting, he knows is deserved because results have not been good enough so far.
Yeah, I think the main issue, like some people have got, is that people are sort of kind of calling for his. There's a few people, not many, but a few kind of calling for his job already, and I think a few people are trying to like when you look at where Cardiff were when he took over, if Neil Warnock hadn't taken over when he did, Cardiff would have been relegated into League One. And then you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where you're going to go, and you don't know. You could keep going down. You could just be stuck there. It could, you could go set the club back 25 years.
Yeah.
So I don't agree that he should be leaving, but I do agree that from my point of view, I don't think his transfer business, as I've said before on all the shows, I don't think his transfer business was great.
Yeah.
And he's going to live and die. He's going to live and die by that in terms of where Cardiff finish at the end of the season. But I don't think he's signed what he needed, and that should be open to. You should be able to criticise that, because
I know. But things I say,
it's a lot of money.
Everyone pays their money to go and watch their loved teams, and you know what I mean. And you live and die by those results, and you know what I mean. It hasn't been good enough. I don't think it's. If the rumours are true that he is leaving at the end of the season, you know what I mean, and what he said, I don't think sometimes that he's probably put extra pressure on himself, because he keep that quiet. There's no reason for that to come out. He could just come out at the end of the season and say, "I've got Cardiff promoted. Time's right for me again to leave football altogether," and just do it. You know, you don't have to. Sometimes it's like that. It's more of a relaxed thing, because he's trying to enjoy the rest of his football life in this year. And you know what I mean. I agree with you about the transfers. The transfers, you know what I mean, and the players brought in were probably not the kind of players that we probably needed to bring in, or we've lost players who probably could have had an impact on the season better than what other people are, like Bobby Reid, etc. You know what I mean, and only time will tell. You know what I mean. Obviously, the window's shut now, so you know what I mean. If they are in and around where they want to be, in and around the playoffs or the top two come January window, will they reinvest and give it a right go to go back in the Premier League? I don't know what kind of position the football club will be in then, because obviously if the manager is leaving, then you know what I mean, will they want to bring in players who the new manager, whoever that may be, will not want to work with in 6 months' time? It's a very strange scenario for me, very strange one.
Yeah, and I think it can affect the players as well, because if he falls out with any of those players, they're going to just think, well, he's not going to be here next year anyway.
And I think that's the thing.
All sorts of problems.
I think that's the thing. I think that probably for me should have been kept quiet. I don't see the pluses of bringing that out, because for me it just causes a problem. It should have been kept in house between the chairman and the manager, and nobody else needed to understand or hear the conversation until it came out, and that would have been after the season had finished, or after promotion was sealed, or after the playoff final, or whatever that may be. I just think timing wise of these things just sometimes need to be looked at.
Spot on, mate. So thank you guys for watching. You can follow Andy on Twitter at Andy Campbell 32. You can follow us on Twitter at ACEcast_nation and Facebook.com/ACEcastNation. All the shows in video format at YouTube.com/ACEpodcastNation, and all the audio downloads at the usual podcasting platforms and apps. Thanks for joining me, buddy. Enjoyed that one again.
Yeah, loved it, mate. Yeah.
A little bit shorter.
Yeah, it was.
Shaved like 25 minutes off it.
Yeah.
So Adam will be happy now. You can tell him. No, it's a little bit more manageable this way now. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week for another episode of the Andy Campbell Championship Show, only on Ace Podcast Nation. Cheers, Andy. Cheers, guys.
My pleasure. See you soon.